Hey guys! Oh, so I just shot a really good video and I realized that I didn't have my lights on and it looked so dark, so I had to reshoot it and do it again because I love my lights. I don't know if you can see all of them. I move it. So pretty. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about this principle that I learned when I was in counseling and therapy sessions about a year ago, and my psychiatrist, or actually she wasn't even a psychiatrist, she was like a therapist. I think she had like a degree in psychology and something else, and she basically diagnosed me with like severe anxiety, and then we never really touched on that topic again. And shortly after that, I stopped going to her because I just didn't like her, frankly. And but one of the things that she got into with me that kind of hits home was this 888 principle. Now, if you know what that is, you immediately know what I'm talking about right off the bat. And that is, and if you don't, that's probably a good thing. But the 888 principle is you're supposed to have your day divided into 8-hour increments. So, for instance, you're supposed to have 8 hours of sleeping, 8 hours of, working or, income producing activity, and 8 hours of free time. And when she told me that, I had to really take a look at my life and where I was spending my time and what I was doing. And at this point, I was really sick and I wasn't going into, and I wasn't like in school. So I'll get into that in another video about, my illness and what happened to me and, other things like that. But like I said, I'll get into that in another video. That's not really important right now. What's important now is I want to tell you my thoughts on the 888 principle. And I'd like to hear your thoughts as well, because this is my own personal opinion, not necessarily the opinion of any kind of psychiatrist or anything like that. Like, if this works for you, then by all means keep, doing your 888 principle. But, when I just I don't believe it because it just doesn't work. I mean, think about it. If you're sleeping for 8 hours a day, and I don't know any American who is, and if you were going to work for 8 hours a day, that's not including overtime. Like, I work overtime now, and 8 hours of free time. I don't see how anybody has 8 hours of free time. I don't have 8 hours of free time. 8 hours of free time to do just what I want, when I want. I don't have that because a lot of the times you need money to do your 8 hours of free time, and a lot of people don't have money. And right now I'm using that other 8 hours that I have to build my business. And I'm not actually working on my business for 8 hours because you have to factor in that those 8 hours of free time consists of meal making and preparation and, let's just say working out. Actually, if you really want to take a look at my life, my working out time cuts into my 8 hours of sleeping. So I'm really spending a majority of my time at my job to fund my dream, which is to build a business so I don't have to follow this 888 principle, and that I could have time freedom and financial freedom all at once. And I was thinking about this, and I was talking to my mom about this 888 principle the other day, and I just don't believe it. I mean, like, you think about it, and I used to think about it from a student's perspective. Now, if you're a student, you're going to class 8 hours a day, usually. Let's just say public high school student. That's where I was at that point when I was, given these or told about this 888 principle. I was a high school student. So I was going to school, or at that point I wasn't, but that's besides the point. But in a public high school, you're going to school for, let's just say, 7 hours. And so you have sports, rehearsal, whatever other things you're doing, extracurricular activities. Then you have homework on top of that. Then you have, your job. A lot of high school students, work part-time. And then you have sleep. Sleep's like later. That comes later. In my life, that always came later. It was always school, always books, study, 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 study. I was a really good student, and I was actually in AP level classes. So I can't imagine anybody taking the amount of AP level classes that I was taking and actually having a social life. Because I didn't have any time for myself when I was doing that. And you think about it from the single mom's perspective, like my mother was a single mother, raising me, and she dedicated 18 years of her life making sure and providing for me, and taking her 8 hours of free time, quote unquote, and giving them to me to make sure that I had everything that I needed, or to provide as much as she could for me. So, I mean, her day looked similar to, okay, you know, I gotta get up, I gotta get, you know, my kid dressed, I gotta cook my kid breakfast, pack my kid's lunch, okay, and then I gotta drop my kid off at school, and then I gotta go to work, okay, so that work is 8 hours. I gotta pick my kid up from school, and then, or, you know, the baby's got, or the kid has to go to a daycare, and then I have to pick my kid up from daycare, and then I have to come home, or maybe there's soccer practice going on, and then when soccer practice is over, you have to come home and cook dinner, and then, you know, maybe you get an hour somewhere in there to take a shower, or, you know, do some sit-ups or something, and, you know, maybe get a little bit of a workout in, and then all of a sudden it's, you know, midnight, or, you know, maybe not necessarily midnight, but 9 o'clock, and it's time for, you know, the kids to go to bed, and then it's time for you to go to bed, and you spent your entire day providing for other people. And I mean, if you do that, if you're a single parent, I give props to you, because I watched my mom do it for 18 years. And she never had time for herself, she never had money for herself, and she never had freedom for herself. And that's the reason why I'm building this business, and I'm using my 8 hours, or I'm not using quite all my 8 hours, because I gotta cook meals for myself now too, to build this business to fund her, you know, dreams. Because I know that, you know, because she was working, you know, she doesn't have, you know, not very many Americans have a retirement anymore. So I want to make sure that I can retire her, because she provided for me for 18 years, so I need to provide for her. I need to give back, you know. Well, it's not that I need to, it's that I want to. I want to give back to her. And I mean, and I want to give back to all the people who helped me. And you can't do that following this 888 principle. It just can't be done. There's no possible way for you to have anything left after working for 8 hours, and then cooking meals for everybody, and then cleaning, and then you're just exhausted. And then come the weekend, all you want to do is sleep, because you've been going nonstop hardcore for the past, you know, 5 days. And then some people even, sorry, I have an itchy eye. Then some people even work weekends. I mean, I was fortunate. My mom never had to work a week. Actually, no, I take that back. I believe she used to work weekends when I was really little. And she used to leave with my dad. Whole nother story for a different day. But, so I just wanted to touch on this 888 principle. And I always say I'm going to shoot a short video, but it always winds up being like 10 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes long. But I just wanted to touch on that, because if you're living by this 888 principle, really evaluate your life. And do you want to be doing this until you die, or until you retire, if you can retire? And personally, I don't. That's why I started building a business, because I want to have financial freedom and time freedom. So if you got value from this, and you would like to learn more about the business that I am affiliated with, and you'd like to learn more about the products that I promote and the education behind what I promote, then click the link below and enter your email address in, and watch the video, and get back to me. And I'll talk to you in another video. All right, bye.